We welcome Olivier Giroud with a victory at BMO Stadium in his first ever game. We welcome you to LAFC Plus. He is Mario Ruiz. I'm Dave Denholm. This is episode 26 of LAFC Plus. How are you doing, Mario?
Doing good. LAFC Plus 26, of course. And Dave, just three more wins, Davey, and still a long road ahead, still a tough road ahead, but just three more wins to raise this Leagues Cup trophy. And Olivier is here just in time to help out with that because we know he has that experience of playing in these type of knockout tournaments and stuff, and he's won a lot of them. So it's good to have Olivier roll in at the right time of this Leagues Cup because it's getting juicy.
Absolutely it is, and he did get on the pitch just after the 70th minute, subbed in a game. We'll talk a little bit more about that coming up, a game where LAFC won 4-1 over San Jose. Thank you so much for your patience as an LAFC supporter, LAFC Plus supporter of this podcast, because we did wait. Normally, we come out on a Monday is when we record this, usually try to get it out to you as soon as possible. This podcast means a lot to us, so we wanted to do it right. We wanted to wait till the Tuesday night game was done.
Executive decision by you,
Yeah,
JB,
a couple of days later, but at least now, we can talk about it. It would have been kind of forced in on the Monday. If we did it on a Monday show, we wouldn't have talked about this match. We would have just kind of been previewing it a little bit, and there's plenty to talk about, certainly. Let's get right to it. A 4-1 impressive victory over San Jose Earthquakes. And the Quakes, we know how much they're struggling. LAFC has now beaten them at BMO twice in a row now with a total score of 10-3. But I got to say, Mario, the 5-0 win over Necaxa, maybe a little bit of a fluke for San Jose. Maybe, certainly they're not that good.
Yeah. And
they made mistakes, right? They have some issues in the back they got to take care of. There's some issues through the midfield maybe. But their offense, they'll give you problems. So this is a team that if they can kind of, tighten up in the back, which is a big ask, and they did through some of this tournament, the earlier stages of this tournament before last night, as we tape this the day after. That's an impressive offense at times. They really got weapons.
And that's a team that has one of my favorite players in all of MLS other than LAFC players. I talk about him all the time. Hernan Lopez,
sure.
the great nephew of Diego Maradona, of course. He is just so impressive to me, and he's just so stylish and fun to watch. Even when I was watching him in pregame, when he was warming up, he came out and just doing all the juggling tricks, just like his great uncle used to do, and just kicking the ball sky high and then settling it down, just putting the ball to sleep at his feet. Just amazing talent. And then he gets into the game, and of course he has a goal, the only goal for San Jose, but for a chance like that, that close to the goal, he's not going to miss those. He's always going to make those. So, they're dangerous. But, they got to figure it out on the defensive side.
Yeah, definitely. And it was interesting to see Lopez in those warm-ups because he kind of did it alone like Diego Maradona would do at times. And it was pretty much just Lopez for a while, and obviously other guys are doing different things. But, seeing him warm up and, just a lot of talent, a lot of vision. They're giving him a lot of freedom. He pretty much popped up wherever he wanted on the pitch last night throughout most of that match. Now, LAFC handled him pretty well, though he got the goal. And, full credit to him on the goal. Maxime Chanot gets a header to it, a little flick header because it's just a good ball sent in by Kikanovic. Yeah. And Lopez just takes that one-timer, right? There's nothing Lloris was going to do because Lopez picked out the side he wanted and hit it perfect. But, man, that's a tough ball to finish without stopping it and settling it and allowing the defense to close you down. He came rushing through the 18 and almost to the 6 and just nailed it in. Again, you got to do better defensively because he shouldn't be alone in there, but that's a great finish. I agree. He's a lot of talent. Christian Espinoza, Bobasi. There's some weapons there. Kikanovic actually moving back to the right back spot was dangerous. I think that's a good move for them because he does offer a lot of speed on that wing and gets right down to the end line. We saw oftentimes how successful that could be for us on both the right and the left side. And I think he had some dimension there. So maybe a little glimmer of hope for the future in this tournament for San Jose. And that's part of what this tournament's about, Mario. We talked about it beforehand.
Yeah.
If you're a team that's going nowhere in MLS, this is like a whole new season. You take your shot. Now, you're probably not going to win. San Jose ran into a much better team, and that thus ends their Leagues Cup in the round of 16, but not a bad showing, and it's, they played 4 games just like we have so far. Good experience, and they gave it a chance. Look at Mazatlan. They're still in it. They're terrible. So they got nothing. They're not going to win Liga MX, right?
Right.
Okay, stranger things have happened. Maybe they got to still have a shot, but you get my point. San Jose's season is done, essentially.
Yeah.
And this is a chance that you could even end up in the Champions Cup and then rebuild, and maybe that helps your rebuild go faster.
Yeah, but unfortunately for them, though, they're going up against, I think, probably the hottest team in all of CONCACAF, and that is LAFC. Because, I mean, since suffering that 3-1 loss to San Jose back in May, LAFC has a 16-1-3 record in all competitions. 16-1-3 since May. That's straight domination, Davey.
Yeah, it really is. It's been that good, and that's what I wrote down. The front three was just dominant last night. And they've been all season, really. And in this case, the front three had Mateusz Bogusz pushed up into it with, of course, Denis and Christian Oliveira on the left and right, respectively, although they switched up a lot last night. Oliveira was found himself on the left side a lot. Denis was in the middle a lot. They just moved around a lot. It's just so dominant. And again, the Earthquakes are not a great defensive team, but boy, they just could not handle what was thrown at them. And they did for a while. I mean, even when they got the Lopez goal and make it 1-1, it was like, 40th minute here. But then that PK late in the first half, Eduardo Atuesta from Ryan Hollingshead, really good setup, gets the PK drawn on William Yarborough, who protested too much. It was a penalty. And, of course, Denis buries it. And that really was a killer for Santos, I think. 2-1 into the break when you played that well. And you could have been 1-1 and really had the momentum because you just scored to give up that one. And then LAFC just kind of absolutely thrashed them in the second half. There was just nothing they were going to do. Great counterattack goals, Mario.
That really was a good goal from Kike, though, to start it off. And I know we have that play-by-play call. So if we can take a listen to that really quickly, Dave, I know you got that. Let's hear that because I want to talk about that.
This one. Hollingshead goes up for a header. Oliveira gets there. Around the defender. Oliveira into the area. The shot. And Kike does it again. 1-0 black and gold. And Oliveira still sizzlingly hot to the touch here in Leagues Cup, his fourth. Oh, what a goal for the black and gold as they take the lead here early in the first half.
Yeah, and it was Ryan, though. Ryan got that play started, and Ryan had a tremendous game all the way, the whole 90 minutes. He played the full 90, and he got the play started by leaping up like sky high. I've never seen him jump that high, honestly. I mean, he was up there, and he sent it right in stride to Kike, and Kike knew exactly what to do with it, and he was, of course, not going to finish that 1v1 with the keeper. But, yeah, salute to Ryan, who was playing a great game in that one. And Christian Oliveira now, 4 goals in Leagues Cup 2024. Tied with Bouanga for second most in competition this year. So, and Kike, I just love his effort every single game, Dave. Yeah. Like when he loses a ball or when he's pressing the opponents that have the ball on the defense, like when he's pressing that back line.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's winning the ball almost every single time, Dave. And when you win that ball, you're giving yourself a good quality chance to either cross the ball in or maybe you're 1v1 versus a defender, or you have a pretty good shot at goal once you're pressing and you have that intensity like Kike does. And people don't understand how valuable that is from Kike's game. So that's why I love Kike.
Yeah, it's a great point. And it really, honestly, you don't really play for LAFC unless you do that. But Kike just takes it to another level. You got to press. They defend all over. Yeah, I mean, he's a perfect fit. No doubt. Another guy who's going to be a great fit, of course, who was just getting his feet wet, Olivier Giroud, the Frenchman, the World Cup winner. It's a massive signing. He gets in the match in the 71st minute. He subs in. Didn't have a lot to do. Didn't get the ball that much because San Jose was, down 4-1 and was just pouring people forward, and LAFC were just kind of handling it, kind of taking the air out of the ball as much as they could. And Giroud did a little bit of that. He got a shot blocked late in the match. Certainly knows where to go. Like you can see his runs are good. He knows where to be on the pitch whenever, and it'll get more in sync with his teammates. But Mario, this was a perfect match to put him in the 71st minute. 4-1 up. Don't really have to have him even touch the ball if they don't want, it's not that big a deal. Run around a little bit, get acclimated to BMO Stadium and the crowd. And not that Giroud needs much of that. He's a seasoned veteran, obviously a World Cup winner, as we said, 37 years old, just came from AC Milan. We all know the pedigree. And yet, I'm glad he wasn't like thrust in there in a game we're down 1-0 in the 70th minute, right?
Yeah, I have the same thing written down here in my notes. Just perfect scenario for the much anticipated debut of Olivier. going in with no pressure, going in with a strong lead, but a good enough chunk of minutes to really get him acclimated, to get him in there in a real game, right? This is not training anymore. Get in there in a real game and get quality minutes amongst his teammates. And it seems like Olivier's just fit in like right away, as you see, like from the videos in training and just all the interaction that he's had with his teammates. He's one of the guys. And this guy is legendary career, but this guy's joking around. They're joking around with him. He just fit in right away. And I was talking to Steve about that, Cherundolo, and he said it's kind of like just like how Chiellini, when Chiellini joined the team, he just knows, of course, he knows his status, his stature, but he knows how to fit in with the guys, so it made everybody feel comfortable right away.
And we have some Olivier post-game, right? After this match, he got his 20 minutes-ish, to start his LAFC career officially with his Leagues Cup performance. Mario, why don't we play that?
Yes, I was looking forward to play on this pitch in front of this crowd, this amazing crowd, and in front of my family and my friends also. So I received, as I said, a very warm welcome from everybody at the club. The staff, the players, everybody is working at the club. I felt like I was welcome, like part of family, And I wish I could play even more tonight, but it's obviously it's better to restart step by step. But I felt very good on the pitch, and I'm looking forward for the next game,
Yeah, it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time before he starts getting that fitness, right? Because I think he needs that fitness. It was a little early, I think, to get him in there and expecting, goals right away. But when he gets that fitness, and we know that quality and that championship level is going to show very soon from Olivier.
Yeah, and let me say this. I think most fans would know this, but maybe if you don't know his game that well, right? We know who Olivier Giroud is. He's not a guy who's out there banging in 45 goals a year. That's not his game necessarily. Not to say he can't score and he's going to score a lot of goals, but he's not looking to take every shot himself. He's not looking to be the guy who does score, break the records and I want the ball at every moment. Like, he works with his teammates well, right? Yeah. And if that means he scores, fine. If that means he assists, or if he makes the secondary assist, or if he just sets up a counterattack where he's not even involved in the final product, but he's the one setting it up near midfield. He can play. He can do everything for you. That's the beauty of Olivier Giroud. Never a bad word spoken about him as a teammate in terms of how he performs, and how, not just how he performs, but the style in which he does it. All team-oriented. Again, he doesn't have to be the center of attention on the score sheet like we know some superstars want to be, and that's fine. That's, I'm not going to mention any names, Zlatan, but the guy was great. So, right? And he could score. There's some guys who that's what they need, and that's how the only way they're going to be successful. But they're that good. And Giroud could do that, but in MLS certainly, but he doesn't have to. That's not his game, and he's just going to integrate in to where, yes, you'll just see the quality. That's we all know that. And no, go ahead. I'm sorry. I was going to say, point I wanted to make.
Somebody who does score and scores a lot is Denis Bouanga. And it was funny because Olivier gets into the game, and then we have an immediate corner kick, right?
Yeah.
And then you and a lot of people that are watching the game are thinking, oh, we know who the target is on this one. Olivier is going to be in there. He's going to be ready for that header. But Denis thinking, you know what? I am wide open on the far post at the very, very top of the box. And he was clapping. He was jumping. He was waving. Send me the ball. I am wide open. He doesn't care that Olivier's in there. He's like, I want to score.
Yep.
Yeah, Olivier, but also I want to score.
At that point, Giroud's a perfect decoy because he just came in. Every team is every time he steps on the pitch, if he comes off the bench, certainly in this instance, San Jose, every player's where is he at? It's Giroud. He just came in. They're going to want to get him that goal. They're going to want to feed him the ball. But it almost worked to perfection.
Bogu sent in the perfect cross from the corner right at Denis' foot. Denis hits it one time out of the air.
Hit it well.
Out of the air, just missed.
Yep.
But wow, that would have been amazing.
Yeah, and I wouldn't put it past LAFC to plan that the first time Giroud stepped out on the pitch, because everybody, the focus is on who's going to manage Giroud? There was 2 guys on. We got to have 3 guys on him. He's so good in the and they want to get him started. They want to get him that goal, but yet Denis is hanging around. You leave Denis Bouanga alone,
right?
In the 18, the best goal scorer in MLS over the last couple of so. At your own
one
peril.
of my players of the match, Ryan Hollingshead, I got a chance to talk to him after the match. I talked to him about the debut of Olivier, talking about going into the next round. And here's my chat with Ryan Hollingshead.
And it was a back and forth battle with San Jose up until halftime. But then you guys dominated after that. What did Steve tell you guys in the locker room at halftime break?
Yeah, we felt like we had the better chances. We felt like we were on top of them in the first half. They tied us up at 1-1, and we thought it was kind of against the run of play. So getting a goal right before halftime was huge, and then we came out knowing if we just possess the ball and make them chase, everything's going to open up and we'll be able to get our third and our fourth, and that's exactly what happened. Our counterattack is so good that when teams have to start pressing us, when we're up a goal, they have to come, and they're just exposed in the back, and it was exactly what we planned for. So huge result for the team.
Now we're down to the final 8. You guys go to Seattle for this one. You guys look like a strong contender going in.
Yeah.
What's it going to take to raise a trophy?
Yeah, Seattle's always a hard place to play. The turf there is crazy, and it's a quick turnaround, too, to go back up there. We're going to become real familiar with Seattle over the next month. So we know what it takes to win there, though. We've been really good there on the road, and we'll be ready to go. This is a big tournament for us. We want to win it. We want to lift the trophy, so we got to go prove it on the road now.
Olivier Giroud made his debut with the black and gold. With his experience of raising all those trophies, how much is that going to help you guys in this one?
Yeah, super special player, obviously. He's hilarious because he's had like a week and a half of preseason, and everybody's like, are you ready to go? And he's like, yeah, I can go. I'm like, no, don't hurt the guy. Like, give him a little preseason. But you can still see his quality is just amazing, and he's going to be huge for us. As he gets the rhythm and as he gets his fitness and gets kind of into this routine, he's going to just be huge for us.
Thanks for the time, Ryan. Go celebrate with your team and the kids.
What's up, babe?
Oh, I love that. Love it.
I love it. That's one thing about LAFC. Family is always welcome at LAFC, whether at the training facility, at the games, in the radio booth with us. I love that about LAFC. But one thing though, Dave. No.
We'll get back to what you're about to say. I've got to stop you right now.
What's
All
that?
right. If somebody is watching on YouTube, you saw Mario with a fresh outfit there, something I hadn't seen Mario wear before, right? And look, I'll be honest with you, it looked not basic in a bad way, but like, a simple, nice outfit. You're always looking fly or whatever the word is now the kids are using. But what happened with this outfit, Mario? This is not something I've seen you in, and I had to harken back to it because now if you're watching on YouTube, if you happen to see the video of this Ryan Hollingshead interview, which you might have just heard, but Mario's wearing just a basic, nice shirt, nice pants. What happened, Mario? Those are not any duds I've ever seen you wear.
Yeah, for those that listen to the podcast, those that view the podcast, they know that I live kind of far from the stadium. So I like to go very comfortable on my drive in because I'm coming in from the IE, heading in all the way to downtown LA.
Yeah.
And usually I get something to eat at a restaurant, and then I'll go into the parking lot and I have my clothes on a hanger ready to go, already freshly ironed. It's hanging there inside the car. I get into the parking lot and I change in the parking lot. Then I head into the stadium.
Yeah.
So yesterday,
and I've seen this happen. Yeah, I can confirm this is exactly what Mario does.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yesterday, I arrive at the parking lot after having dinner with the family, and I'm like, all right, I'm stuffed, I'm full, but it's ready to get changed. So I go into the back seat, and where is the hanger with all my clothes? Oh no! First time ever, Dave. First time ever. How many years have we been doing this?
7th season, right? Isn't this our 7th season already?
First time ever this happens, and I'm like, what do we do? Well, we come up with the game plan. Wifey, kid, my son, you guys go to the store, get me something. I'm gonna walk into the stadium. I mean, we're 2 hours before the game, so I walk into the stadium and I'm like trying to sneak in there without anybody seeing me because I got my workout gear on, basically, like shorts, right? Totally unprofessional. Then that's not like me. I like to be professional. Yeah. I'm unprofessional. I sneak up into the booth. I sit down in the booth. I close the door. I don't want anybody to see me, and we start the pregame show. And then, sure enough, by the time kickoff starts, wifey shows up with the bag. Here you go, and I change in the booth. We're ready to go for the post game walk off interview with Ryan Hollingshead with a fresh outfit.
I love it. Mario,
here's my outfit in the booth.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I didn't know we were going to see this.
Yeah,
you needed to change. Yeah.
I was so upset with myself. So that was the only the only bad part of last night. Other than that, LAFC domination was great.
I had never seen you wear a shirt that makes you look as big as me. Let's put it that way. That's not a good look for you with that on in a professional setting, because you are definitely not that, my friend. So you look very good with the outfit she picked out for you. Very fly as usual.
Great job.
Very sharp. I prefer to say very sharp. So I had to stop you there. You may continue. I didn't mean to interrupt your point there, but it was a perfect segue as I watched you talking with the colleagues in an outfit. Didn't know we were going to see the outfit where you wore into the stadium. Classic Mario. Where did you go to dinner there, by the way, before this match?
Oh, Hobosh. You know our spot, Hobosh.
That's why I wanted you to mention it, of course.
Yeah. Always seen a bunch of LAFC
congratulations
fans there.
to them, right? They're not a sponsor of this show, or we love going there. No sponsor of the, they're not, we're not paid to say any of this. Congratulations to them, right? Got the recognized again.
Got the Michelin star for 2024. Yeah. What a and well deserved, right? The best lobster, the best ceviche, the best fish tacos, the everything. It's just amazing there at Hobosh. Congrats on the Michelin star.
Yeah, amazing stuff. So yeah, great stuff, Mario. Good look. Your wife did well. She picked out a good outfit for you. All was good. We move on to part of our history. This is part of the League's Cup as well. We wanted to talk about this guy, this young gentleman who is definitely a big part of our history. Brian Rodriguez of Club America, 2 goals in that match where they came storming back against a very plucky St. Louis City side that nearly knocked out Club America from this competition. They were down 2-1 in the second half. They stormed back. Rodriguez gets 2 goals in this game. They win 4-2. I don't know who's going to beat Club America. Somebody still has to beat Club America. I don't care how many Liga MX teams are still in this. We'll talk about that in a second. But Mario, congrats to Brian Rodriguez. He's really seemed to find a home here at Club America.
Oh yeah, he's fitting in right. He's fitting right away with Club America, of course, the former LAFC player. But he had a highlight reel type of goal, Dave, for Club America last night in Carson. The way he settled it, it was a long ball. The ball seemed like it was sky high. The ball comes down to his feet, and he settles it down ever so gently, and he goes right in stride. He goes straight to the box. And then he gives one pass. The pass comes right back to him. And then, boom, the goal. And as a matter of fact, when he passes the ball, defender's in his way. He jumps over the defender's feet, lands on his feet, gets the ball, boom, back of the net. And then he does his little dance that he does, which I love to see. But yeah, El Rayito, Brian Rodriguez is... Oh, and he also got a PK goal. Yeah, so they're showing all the confidence in the world. Yeah, so... He's doing it. He's getting his chance to shine. And, of course, he has that MLS experience. So that's another reason why he be getting that chance in League's Cup to do his thing. And he's shining for sure.
Yeah, I mean, a team like Club America is so deep. They rotate so much. I mean, they don't need 11 guys every match starting. Like, they're the only guys who are going to – I mean, they're 25 deep. It doesn't really matter at times who they rotate in. But Rodriguez is a big part of that rotation, no doubt. And I'll tell you about with Brian Rodriguez, I don't have any problem saying this. Whether he played for LAFC or not, I've always thought before he even came to LAFC, he is one of the most skilled football players in the world. Now, we saw him at practice for years. Like the littlest things. I talked about it with Carlos Vela. Of course, the greats, Messi, they have all the control in the world. They can do whatever they want, whenever they want, seemingly with the ball. We saw it with Carlos. Brian Rodriguez is one of the most skilled players in the world still.
Oh, yeah. And confident, too.
There's just no doubt. Confidence. Here's the thing. Kike Oliveira is who we thought Brian Rodriguez would be.
Right.
That is a guy who can finish.
He can finish. Yes,
you have to put the ball in the back of the net. That's the name of the game, right? Unless you're going to get 30 assists or 20, unless you're a pure number 10.
They're very similar. Right? Very similar.
Very
players,
similar.
The fact that he can finish puts him over the top.
And agreed. And I don't even know, and this is no disrespect to Oliveira, he doesn't even have the bag of tricks Rodriguez does necessarily. In terms of just the small little things, the skills, he has plenty, right? Oliveira is certainly developing that. He's definitely got plenty of skills himself, but he can do things that Rodriguez can't do. So it's interesting that they are very similar. Certainly, you can see why LAFC had an eye on both of them. They're super talented, and Oliveira is just on a rocket ship to the moon, it seems.
And for Oliveira to crack time with the Uruguayan squad in Copa America and do well there too. Yeah.
And fully deserved. I mean, he's just, again, he is a player on the rise, a world football player on the rise, no doubt. But he can finish. And that's just sometimes, and that's not to say Rodriguez isn't developing that, and maybe it's just going to take him longer. I mean, he's scoring goals for Club America, so it's not like, and he scored some goals for us. Maybe it was the kind of thing where, in a weird way, because Rodriguez came first, and all of LAFC were so hopeful that this was going to be a guy who, 15 goals, 15 assists, like just start pouring in the stats and everything. And LAFC were successful with him on the pitch. It wasn't like he was holding LAFC back. He was a good player, right? Good player. But then Oliveira comes in. Maybe there's less, he has less pressure on him because of Rodriguez had just come through, and you don't want to put too much pressure now on Oliveira, right? And he needs a little time, and he's developing as a finisher, but he wasn't quite there yet. Maybe when he joined LAFC, well, he's clicked, And
LAFC definitely has that connection with Uruguay, the Uruguayan youngsters, because Diego Rossi, we know what he's doing at Columbus. You know what he done here with LAFC.
Yeah, I mean,
Brian Rodriguez, Kike Oliveira. Yeah, LAFC knows about that talent in Uruguay.
Oh, may that pipeline never end for LAFC. It's working to perfection so far. I mean, and again, it's not like Brian Rodriguez was a failure or something. That's stupid.
No,
not at all. And he's going to be a great player for a long time. He's still very young.
Yeah, you don't go to Club America if you're a failure, if you don't have any talent.
Oh my gosh, no. I mean, they're the best team in the region, and they're still going to be the team somebody has to knock them out. I thought maybe St. Louis was on the verge of doing that last night, Mario, as we kind of take a look at these matches now. Again, kudos to Brian Rodriguez. We hope he doesn't have a whole lot of success against LAFC ever, but we loved having him as part of our history. So around the rest of MLS is really around the rest of League's Cup here now. We're down to the final 8, the quarterfinals. The matchups are set. And we can kind of talk a little bit about these games first. But first I want to say, again, it's something to point out that we've been talking about on this show, and Mario and I agree. This cannot become... It can't always just be year by year, like, oh, this is the better league, and oh, look what they're doing in this competition, and look what happens in CONCACAF Champions Cup.
Right.
You have to kind of judge these teams as themselves, right? And I know that's hard. Yeah. I mean, everybody's going to look at it, MLS versus Liga MX. Okay, that's kind of how it's set up. I get it. So there is some of that. I'm not stupid. Yeah. But it does come down to who's playing well in the tournament, what teams, individual teams. There's a lot of bad teams in MLS, right? I mean, there's some poor teams. We beat one of them last night. Bottom line. Now, that's not to say they couldn't have pulled upset. Of course, they beat Necaxa 5-0. Necaxa's not a good team. Right. Juarez is not a great team, even though they made the knockout stages. Tijuana is not that great, okay? We have plenty of, in MLS that struggle. There's some teams that are bad at any given time. That's just the way sports are. So you can't just, look at MLS dominating Liga MX. Well, a Liga MX side can still win this thing. And that's why we point back to Club. Who's going to beat them? Maybe they're still the best. And maybe they just romp through and win. Maybe not. And MLS is doing well. You can't say they're not. And Mazatlan, though, is still in. Those are the only 2 teams in Liga MX, right? 6 from MLS. So I think people are focused a little too much sometimes on that. Like, this is... And then they make excuses. Then that stuff gets in the way, Mario. Let's just enjoy the teams. Let's just enjoy the tournament.
And Club America, as dominant as they are, as deep as they are, as talented as they are, and then they come over here to have, Carson be their home base.
Yeah.
That's a home field advantage still, even though they're playing in the United States. Club America packs up that place in Carson as they did last night. That crowd was rowdy. That crowd was loud, and it definitely helped them out.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Well, they will face Colorado Rapids, who got a nice win against Toluca, one of my favorite Liga MX sides. I didn't think Colorado had that in their arsenal. No pun intended with the owner of Colorado. No, I didn't mean to say that way, but I didn't think they had that club in their bag. I thought Toluca was going to beat them up, even though it was at their park in Colorado. I thought Toluca would handle them. I really did, and Colorado impressed me. I got to say, they deserve to be here.
Toluca rocked the post twice in that first half. 2 attempts that really should have been goals before even halftime. And the one goal that Toluca did, that one goal that Toluca did get was a killer back heel from Paulinho. I don't know if you've seen that one. He was kind of like
he's so
spun
good.
around and rolled it in with the back of his heel. It was amazing goal.
What a
But
great
Toluca really
signing.
played
Yeah.
well. Colorado didn't have that many chances, but they did enough to get by. And that's what we talk about these
Exactly.
tournaments, these knockout games. You do just enough to squeak by and make it on to the next round. I don't care how you do it, how you did it. Just make it to the next round. And that's what Colorado did. And now they earned that spot to go face against
100%.
Club America. And they're going to really, really have to earn this one.
And that's why you can't get too high or low in terms of, Liga MX is this because of this game, or MLS stinks because they lost this match. Toluca's better than Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Not by much, maybe, or maybe they're, they're a better team. Colorado happened to win and played well that night and got a goal late, 96th minute, kind of
An
a
own
sloppy
goal.
Yeah, sloppy
right?
goal at the end there. I think they gave it credit to Darren Yappy because he did touch it over the line. You know what I mean? Like he kind of dove in at the end, but it was already going in.
It was already going in.
It looked
exactly.
like it was off of the Toluca defender, who was just mortified. Obviously, he didn't.
So frustrating for Toluca on that one because, like I said, I think they deserve to win that game.
They're a better team. But sometimes you just, like Mario said, in a knockout game or knockout tournament, you got to have your focus and you got to play well, and that means finishing. And if you
got to be able to
open,
put teams away.
That's how you lose. That's how you lose. If you don't put them away, that's how you get knocked out of tournaments like this. When you're a good team like Toluca, that's the only way you have to underperform. If you're playing Colorado, even if it's in Colorado, and Colorado's good, they're having a nice season. That's a tough team. We know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right? That's one of the LAFC losses this season. Colorado can play, but Toluca should have won that game. You're right. Just the way it goes. That doesn't mean Liga MX is so much worse or it's not fair because it's earlier. No, they just were sloppy, right? I mean, that can happen in week 30 or week 3 or whatever. It doesn't really matter. I mean, Toluca should have won that match. Some teams who really deserve to win, Philadelphia, going to Cincinnati. Boy, Philadelphia has been reinvigorated by this tournament, and that's why we talk about this. They got a real shot here, Mario. They're in a bracket.
4 goals, Dave. 4 goals up against FC Cincinnati. We know how strong they are.
Yeah, at home.
To put 4 goals up against them. Yeah, and Andre Blake had an amazing game, saving all kinds of shots there. It was a huge win on the road for Philadelphia.
Now you're playing. I mean, these are 2 of the biggest underdogs in my estimation out of the final 8, but they're playing each other. Philadelphia will host Mazatlan, who's done a really good job, kind of held on for dear life by by their fingernails on the side of the cliff against Cruz Azul, who woke up too late and then loses in PKs despite tying it late in that match down a man. And so Mazatlan was really in control for most of that match. And to their credit, they've played well in this tournament, I think, Mazatlan. They haven't been overawed, they've looked decent. I mean, they really have, and they deserve to be in the quarterfinals.
Is this for real? Is this Mazatlan team for real? Because to me, I mean, to be in the final 8 is a huge accomplishment. But then I look back at their games, and they had a really good win, 2-0 win over Nashville, and then another nice win over DC United, and then to knock out Cruz Azul on PKs in a match that they were playing really, really good. And, they have a lot of rhythm going into this match now. So,
yeah, I mean, if you look at Mazatlan, they've added a few pieces. Like, not much is expected of them in Liga MX, yet. I mean, I like Barcenas. He got a goal in this match in the 45th minute, that really shocked everybody because that made it 2-0 right before halftime. And then they had to hold on to the 2-2 and then win at PKs. So they could have just as easily been out. Okay, I get that. But I like their team. I mean, Mazatlan is a team that's overperforming, yes. But, Brian Rubio up front, I mean, they've had a tournament that's just, they're hot. That's fine. Yep. You got to ride it as far as you can. You're probably going to run out of real estate talent-wise.
I feel like they're playing with nothing to lose, Dave. Like,
exactly.
And then they're going into this game.
They're the 8th of 8, Mario. Where are you going from there? We got as far as we probably should in terms of the best case scenario. Well, let's keep going. Who knows? I mean,
they got a decent matchup against Philadelphia Union, who hasn't been as strong as we're used to in the past few years. So,
no, for my money,
is feeling good going into this one too.
I agree, and Philly's playing at home. I'll give you that. But for my money, Philadelphia is the 7th out of the 8 teams. So, 8 versus 7 in that sense. So one of them's going to a semifinal, and then hear me out. On the other side of that bracket, NYCFC, who got a nice win A very good win last night again, against the Mexican side. Played really well.
That was the shocker for me last night. That one
with
was
Tigres going up 1-0. Usually Tigres, when they get that, smelling the blood in the water, no pun intended there, but forget about it.
They're stacked from top to bottom. That's a
usually
powerhouse team.
They're
expected to get into the Final Four at least.
Well, even you and I were joking. We weren't on the air, but we were about to get going in our match. And we both had one eye on the Tigres NYCFC late. I mean, that thing went 10 minutes of stoppage time, 9 minutes, something like that. And it was 2-1 for a while. But even you and I both were like, well, when is Tigres going to tie this up and win on PKs? That's what they'll do. And to NYCFC's credit, I mean, they played well. Came from that 1 goal down early. In fact, they tied it up only about maybe 90 seconds after Tigres scored. So to NYCFC's credit, they didn't hang their head at all. And they're playing well. I mean, they deserve to be here. Like, Tigres is a very, very tough team to knock out of a tournament. That, whether you think they're the best team anymore, or maybe they're on a little bit of a downward turn, try knocking them out of a tournament. New York City FC did that. And, New York City FC's prize for that is going to Columbus. Good luck, because the Crew, Mario, that one game against Inter Miami was top class. I mean, that was a good football match.
But for NYCFC to knock out the reigning Liga MX champs, and then now they have to go face the reigning MLS Cup champs,
who just knocked out the defending Leagues Cup champs. So we'll have a new. But Leagues
you know what,
Cup
though,
winner.
Maxi Morales and Santi Rodriguez are great players for NYC who know each other very well. So if those two get cooking together, I mean, NYC is very dangerous when those two are playing well, when they're healthy, when they're in rhythm. So let's see what they can do. I mean, it's a tough task going against Columbus in Columbus, of course. Yeah. But we'll see.
I mean, Columbus found themselves down 2-0 after 62 minutes. I wouldn't recommend doing that every week for Columbus. But they did get 3 goals in a span of 18 or 13 minutes to come back, storming back and win 3-2.
But just like we talked about earlier, you got to put teams away. When you have a chance to put them away, you got to put them away.
Yeah.
And Inter Miami did not put them away, even though they had chances and it looked like they were going to. But Columbus kept fighting, and they props to Wilfred Nancy. Wilfred Nancy, he makes the adjustments. Ramirez gets in there, of course, in the second half. He does his thing. That trio right there, Cucho, Diego Rossi, Christian Ramirez, always is dangerous when they're out there, and look what they did.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That's a team that could give anybody, any team in the world fits. There, I said it.
Yeah.
Columbus can play with anyone. I'm not, again, don't send me emails or whatever. Oh, they can beat our Real Madrid every week, or they're going to win La Liga. Okay, stop. But they would not embarrass themselves against anybody. That team is good. That team is legit.
That's a tough team to beat right now in Leagues Cup. And then when they play at home, they're even that much tougher.
I couldn't agree more.
I mean, you and I know when we were there at Lower.com Field for the MLS Cup final last season, we know that environment very well. LAFC knows that environment very well. Tough place to play, tough place to get a result in.
Didn't go particularly well for us against them at BMO this season either. So nobody does that to LAFC at BMO Stadium until Columbus had a really good game against them, albeit that's a bit of a anomaly for both teams. When you have 2 great teams like that, to get a 5-1 win was amazing. Don't get me wrong, but it's not going to happen. Again, the Crew will not beat LAFC like that again, and I wouldn't mind a rematch on that one. That would be a very good game.
I was going to say this is a long ways away, but
yeah.
Very, very possible if LAFC were to make it to the Leagues Cup final and Columbus come out of their side and make it to the final. We're going back
to
for
Columbus.
A rematch of the MLS Cup final in Columbus, Ohio again. I mean,
I'll be there. We'll be there.
Down the
Let's
road.
do it.
But hey,
I'll take it right now.
We're in the sports talk business here. We're on the microphone talking, so this is what we do.
I will take that right now. Let's go play them. On the other side of the bracket is where we fit in, of course. First, Colorado versus America, as Mario said, at Dignity Health Sports Park down in Carson. So that's their home base, if you will. Again, the Rapids playing good. Some good fall this season. They're playing well in the Leagues Cup. They deserve to be here. Yeah, good luck. You're running into a buzzsaw. I don't know how they're going to handle Club America. Yeah, can they pull off an upset, Mario? Yes, of course. Anybody could win this thing now. You're in the final 8, but Club America has got to be the favorite for this whole tournament, don't they?
Yeah, I agree. And if they advance and LAFC advance, then LAFC and Club America meet up in the semifinal, and that one would be held in Carson, right, Dave? Because they're the higher rated team.
Yes, they still would have they have it all the way, I believe, to the semis, I think, because they're the number one.
Okay.
Like they had to pick their pod wherever they wanted all the way until the semis, I believe. So yeah, they would have to. They would, but I'll tell you this: as I look at these 8 teams, and I know Columbus, like we said, we're bragging on them, and rightfully so. I think LAFC matches up the best against Club America out of all of them. I think LAFC does.
I think that's going to be the most epic match. If it does go down, that is the most epic match in Leagues Cup 2024.
Yeah, that would probably give you the winner of this thing. I'll say it right now. If that's the matchup in the semis. Now, we have to take on Seattle in Seattle. This is a team that's turning it around, Mario. I know we handled them right before this Leagues Cup. 3-0 victory. It was very, almost, I hate to say it. I can say it. The team would never say it. It's kind of an easy victory over Seattle that game. Really, they never comfortable. Yeah, comfortable. That's a better word for it. It's never easy, but and LAFC have had their way with Seattle for now. But they certainly are starting to turn it around. The Sounders are, and they weren't getting hotter as we played them in MLS, even as they finished up. So that was a bit of a shocking result for the Sounders. I think they kind of got punched in the nose by LAFC. They were surprised by that, but it didn't stop them. They're playing well. Right. Still into League.
We all know that franchise is not going to be down for too long. That franchise is well run. A lot of trophies in that franchise. They're not going to be down for that long. And we knew that they were going to get it together. And of course, they are doing it. And, like we talked about earlier, these tournaments, the US Open Cup tournaments, these Leagues Cup tournaments are chances to build a different type of rhythm, different type of energy, different type of hope. And that's what's happening. And also, we have another semifinal scheduled later on in this month versus the same Seattle Sounders. So these two teams are going to get to know each other even more this month. So let's look forward to that.
If you look at these quarterfinals, I think it just illuminates how cool this tournament is. These quarterfinals themselves, 2 underdogs, Mazatlan and Philadelphia, right? Nobody expecting much of either one of those teams. Again, one of them's in the Final Four. Great shot to win this whole thing. Why not? Then you got NYCFC, right? A team that NYCFC could be very dangerous to finish up this MLS season. They're starting to really against a powerhouse in MLS, the powerhouse right now, I think, in Columbus, a team that can run you over at home without a doubt. Like they could. Then you have Colorado Rapids again, playing on words with their name. They're on the rise. Like a team that is definitely beyond where they had been the last a few seasons previous, or struggling. No, this is a good team against the team in all of CONCACAF, no doubt, all of North and Central America. And then you got LAFC, Seattle, 2 old friends there, or frenemies, certainly bitter rivals that either one of those teams could win the whole stinking thing. So great matchups.
To have just 2 Liga MX teams left, Dave, in the Leagues Cup is crazy to me because Club America, of course, we all expected them to go far. They're the reigning Liga MX champs. And then we have Mazatlan, who's the underdog, but it's just crazy that there's 2 teams left. So I think for the good of Leagues Cup, I think rooting for, some Mexican teams to keep going just for the good and for the ratings and for the better of the tournament. Let's go, Liga MX. Let's
interesting.
Go. Get it together. Come on.
Maybe a Mazatlan at Columbus for one semifinal. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm rooting for them, but I'm saying, come on.
Like, for matchups, right? What do we don't really care about them. Like Philadelphia, what do I care about the Union? Really, I mean,
this is supposed to be, as everybody is selling this tournament, Liga MX versus
why not
MLS,
Mazatlan
USA
versus Columbus,
Mexico.
And then
let's go. Let's keep it going.
Club America versus the LAFC at Dignity Health Sports Park.
Oh, that's the one. That's the one we all want to see. I mean, that's final. That's worthy of a final right there.
Oh, man, you got that right, my friend. Hey, look, long way to go for all those teams, and we got a lot of work to do against Seattle in Seattle coming up on Saturday. Pregame begins 4:30 p.m. It's on the ESPN LA app. We got Rams football on 710 ESPN, a preseason game, but LAFC pregame 4:30 p.m. kickoff a little after 5 at Seattle's Lumen Field, Leagues Cup quarterfinal. I cannot wait to broadcast this one, Mario. Great stuff as always, buddy. Take us out for this week.
Yeah, like you said, this is going to be a one that we don't want to miss because LAFC have done an amazing job playing in Seattle lately. Lumen Field, we all know that stadium is going to be rocking. We know the energy that they bring. When I watch Seattle play against other teams, like when I'm watching on Apple TV, I'm always amazed at the sound that comes out of that stadium from the crowd. I
Yeah.
mean, their crowd is always rocking, and they're packing that place up. So LAFC has done well there. So hopefully they continue to do well and make it onto that next stage and keep it going.
Oh, I can't wait. Great stuff, Mario, as always. Thanks for listening. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, rate, review us everywhere where podcasts are. We really appreciate it. The show's growing. Thank you so much. This is LAFC Plus. Take care.